Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to see a new chapter, a truly beautiful mind. In this chapter, it is spoken about Albert Einstein. He was a great scientist. The title of this chapter, A Truly Beautiful Mind, refers to Albert Einstein. Actually, this is a short biography. In this, his qualities are highlighted. His special interest in mathematics and physics is the most or the key importance given here. When we speak about a man, we do not know. Usually we don't use beautiful, the word beautiful. But here, it is being said about the real humanitarian concept with which he guided his life. Therefore, it is being said, a truly beautiful mind. He stood for peace. He stood for non-violence. All these characteristics actually makes him beautiful. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879. He was born in a city named Ulm in Germany. When he was a child, no one could predict that one day he would become a great scientist. Of course, it is through one's own effort that one is becoming a greater one. Albert's mother thought that Albert was a freak because he did not behave, talk, or look like normal people did. Looked like an extraordinary, different child. He behaved a little bit of with abnormality. It seemed as if he had lesser intelligence in comparison to other children. It seemed. We will see how and where his intelligence is being revealed. Albert's mother thought that the little boy's head was a bit too big in comparison to other children's head. Albert Einstein started talking when he was 2.5 years of age. Finally, when Einstein started speaking, he used to repeat the words his playmates used to call him Brother Boring, because he used to keep himself little away from all the others. He remained to himself. He did not play or talk to them. Einstein remained to himself at all the time. He used to play with himself only. What he loved was playing with mechanical toys. When his sister was born and he looked at her, he could not see her feet. He was wondering where the baby's wheels were. That means the feet of the baby. As Albert used to play with the toys and all the toys had a set of wheels, to him, Maja, his sister, seemed to be a toy. And so he might have thought that where were the wheels? He just considered Maja as one of his toys. A headmaster once told his father that what Einstein chose as a profession wouldn't matter because he will never make a success at anything. Whatever he does, he is going to be a failure in the future. That is what the headmaster told him once. Einstein began learning to play the violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him to. He later became a gifted amateur violinist, a very specialist in violinist, maintaining this skill throughout his life. Einstein was a very good violinist. He learned playing the violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him. He was a very good student too. He went to a school in Munich because his family had moved from Ulm to Munich when he was 15 months old and scored good marks in almost every subject. The school where Einstein went had a very strict discipline which he disliked. He did not like that. Due to that, he often clashed with his teacher's opinion and opposed them. One thing is that what he felt did not match with the concepts of the teachers, those who were teaching there. And he used to be open with his opinion. At the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled there that he left the school for good. For good here means forever. When Albert Einstein left the school 1 year before that, his parents had moved to another city, Milan, which is in Italy. He was left behind in Munich with his relatives. The school in Munich was very strict. Albert could not follow the discipline over there. He had a long discussion with his family, relatives, and finally his parents agreed to put him in a school in Switzerland, and the language used there for communication was German. Einstein was good at studies. He was highly gifted in mathematics, so he was exceptionally good in mathematics, and he also had interest in physics. Once he finished school, he joined the university in Zurich. So the two subjects which he likes most are mathematics and physics. Science was not the only thing that appealed to Einstein, who was a very handsome young man. Other than science, he had interest in something else also. Albert Einstein liked one of his fellow students. Her name was Mileva Maric. The reason for him to love her was that he thought she was very brilliant, intelligent, and therefore he decided to continue with that love. They met at the Zurich University. Mileva Maric belonged to Serbia. That is why she is called Serb in this chapter. She came from Serbia to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few universities in Europe which gave degrees to female students. Einstein felt that Mileva was a friend because she also liked art, literature, or music. Both shared this common interest. In those days, having interest in art, literature, or music was not considered to be good. So those people who were interested in art, literature, or music used to call their opponents Philistines. Albert Einstein's family and many people in the university were not in favor of this. So, against such people, Albert Einstein and Mileva Marich's unity helped them face the situation. So, both of them had the same interest, both of them had the same notions, and therefore, whatever circumstantial criticisms were being done, both of them faced them together. Albert Einstein and Mileva Maric fell in love and they exchanged love letters to express their feelings. They used to write such kinds of letters where they used to mix science with their feelings. At one instance, Einstein talked about his scientific invention and said that he would be very proud on that day when they would finally conclude their paper on the theory of relativity. So this theory of relativity is one of the most important doctrine that he has given in his life. In the year 1900, Albert Einstein was 21 years of age and he completed his graduation from the university but was unemployed from 1900 to 1902. Albert Einstein was working as a teaching assistant and gave private lessons. Finally, in 1902, he got a job in Bern. It is a city in Germany. He got the job of a technical officer in a patents office in Bern, a license giving office. Einstein was supposed to check the inventions done by other people and give them a patent. On the other hand, secretly, he was making his own inventions too along with this. Einstein later said the desk on which he worked was the office of theoretical physics because there only he started working on his inventions. In 1905, Einstein published his first paper. It was about the special theory of relativity. In this publication, it was written that the measurement of time and distance is not absolute. It depended on something else. We cannot have a clear-cut idea, an absolute idea. Finally, we can say about this is that. We couldn't say about time in such a way. It depended on something else. According to the theory, if there are two clocks and both are moving, they will not show the same time. One clock will move faster than the other. One clock will show the difference in one or the other way. The theory of relativity gave us this basic formula of physics. What is that theory? What is that formula? E is equal to mc square. E stands for energy, m for mass of the object, and c for the speed of the light in a vacuum. Vacuum means where there is no air, and the speed of light in vacuum is almost 3 lakh kilometers per second. To put it into simpler words, Einstein said that when you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours, it seems like 2 minutes. On the other hand, when you sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes, it seems like 2 hours. Depends how you are involved with the time. Happens along with your classes in the classrooms too. Sometimes the whole 45 of one class may look like ages. But certain subjects which you like, certain teachers when they take a class, the teachers whom you like, you will feel that the classes are just simply over within a few seconds like. Though he was solving the complicated problems in physics for the world, his personal life started becoming problematic. He started to fail in his personal life. He wanted to marry Mileva Maric. After he finished his studies, he wanted to do it, but his mother was a bit against this particular concept. She did not think that they both would go together for a long time. Pauline thought that Mileva Maric, who was 3 years elder to Albert Einstein, was very old for him. Pauline thought that Mileva was very intelligent to be a wife, and she told Einstein that Mileva was also like a book and was similar to him. As his mother was against this marriage, he cancelled his wedding with Mileva. Albert Einstein married Mileva Maric in the year 1903, and they had 2 sons. But as the mother had predicted, a few years later, the marriage faltered. The main problem was that their ideas could not match now. Mileva was unhappy from this marriage. She could not fulfill her career dreams. So finally, in the year 1919, after prolonged fighting, both of them separated. Einstein married his cousin, Elsa, the same year. At the time Einstein married Elsa, another thing coincided. He became so famous. He became a very popular person in the whole world. In 1915, he published one more paper which was based on general theory of relativity, which he gave a new interpretation to gravity. So first one was about relativity, and second one is about gravity, relativity of time and relativity of gravity. Albert Einstein had calculated in the year 1915 that in the year 1919 there would be a solar eclipse. Due to it, the apparent position of the stars would change to some extent. His calculation was accurate. So it was announced that Albert Einstein's work was a scientific revolution. And he got a Nobel Prize award for physics in 1921. And then on, he was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded by the press. He was honored and was invited to various places all over the world. Even the press praised him. When the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein emigrated to the United States. The Nazis, he was not in favor of the Nazist views. After 5 years, the Germans discovered the process of nuclear fission, the process through which nuclear bombs or atomic bombs are made. This process was prepared in Berlin. Due to this, all the physicists in America were upset as they feared misuse of the technology. They felt that there is a possibility of bringing out dangerous weapons to destroy this world around. There were many scientists who escaped to America because of fascism. Fascism was a dictatorial concept which was stated in Europe from Italy by the rule of Benito Mussolini. All the scientists were afraid that Nazis could misuse the atomic bomb. Albert Einstein was requested by the colleague, and so he wrote a letter to the President of America, Franklin D. Roosevelt, on 2nd August 1939. He warned him that the atomic bomb which was developed by Germany was very powerful. If one of these bombs exploded on any port, it would not only destroy the area, but also it would destroy the surrounding area. This shows Einstein's humanitarian quality. He wanted the good of the people. He wanted peace in the world. That is the reason why he wrote a letter to Franklin D. Roosevelt. His words did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own and dropped it on the Japanese cities. You know that very famous historical event. The bombing at Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Einstein was very deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction. The destruction was much more than what he had actually even calculated of. He wrote an official letter to the United Nations organization. In it, he proposed the formation of a world government. Unlike the letter to Roosevelt, this one made no impact. But over the next decade, Einstein got more involved in politics, agitating for an end to the arms build-up and using his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. He died in 1955 at the age of 76. So a short story of Albert Einstein is explained here. Along with this explanation, please go through the chapter also. Therefore, you will understand it a better way. Learn the question answers, learn the grammatical sections, and please clarify the doubts if there are. You can call me in the morning hours from 8 to 12. You can ask for your clarifications at that time. If any concept in the chapter you are not understanding, please ask me that. All the best. Study well. Bye-bye.